Welcome back to the Edmonds School District Automotive Training Center. This is Hot Rod High School. In today's episode, we are going to be performing an alignment check using this Hunter Hawkeye alignment machine. Let's get started. Getting started here, the vehicle is already driven up onto the alignment rack. And so all we got to do now is hit this little button here that says Begin Alignment. So now we need to enter the information for this vehicle, ask for the VIN, the year, the make, the model. And in order to enter this, we got a handy little component right here. So we can just go through and scan the VIN number, and it'll enter in automatically for us a lot of the other information that we need to start working on this vehicle. Another thing that we can do in order to enter in the specifications for our vehicle is hit this little button down here, Recall Specifications. And then we can just go through and choose our year, make, and model of car that way as well. Let's go down here. Let's see, this is Saturn. It is an Outlook. It is front wheel drive. And yes, it was made between 2007 and 2010. It's a 2008. Okay. And we'll make sure to enter in who's working on it and also the year of the vehicle as well. Now that the vehicle information is in there, go ahead and hit OK. And now it's telling us that a reset's required. So we do have a reset tool that'll allow us to reset the electronic stability control. This is pretty common on a lot of different vehicles, and it's been mandated that it's on all vehicles from 2012 on up. So it's just reminding us that that needs to be done after our alignment has been performed. We'll hit OK. So now it's giving us our specifications for the vehicle and what all the different specs need to be, where the alignment angle should be at from the factory. So once we get to this screen, we can now hit the button there that says Mount Sensors. Okay, I'm here at the left front wheel of the vehicle, and I'm ready to mount my sensor up. But before I do that, I actually want to go through and check the tire inflation on all four tires. You cannot align a vehicle without the tire inflation being set properly. So I've opened the door of the car here, and it has the tire loading information and includes right here the tire pressure. You can see it says both front and rear need to be set to 35 psi. Okay, so now that I've found that the spec inside the door says that this tire should be set to 35 psi, I'll check that inflation pressure real quick. And yeah, we are reading exactly 35 psi. I'm going to go through and repeat that on all four tires, make sure that we are set to the proper inflation pressure before continuing with my alignment. Now that inflation pressure has been set for all four tires, I can begin installing the sensors. So here's our sensor right here. It has these two arms that attach to either side of the tire, and it has this little gray clamp right here that locks it into place. While you're attaching it, make sure the gray clamp is up, and then once it's secured onto the wheel, then you push this clamp down, and that will then lock it into place. So I'll take and put it in the center of the wheel, put the arms out, so it just kind of hugs onto that tire there. And now I'm going to take and push down on this little gray clamp right here. and that's going to lock it in place. And now I just need to repeat that same process on all 4 of our alignment heads. Now that all 4 of the heads are mounted, I can do my rolling compensation. So you see that we have a couple of blocks installed here around the rear tire. I'm going to move one of them backward, and now I can roll the car backward until the alignment machine tells me to stop, and then I will roll it back forward, and that will compensate and adjust and make sure that the heads are in proper alignment to be able to start giving me my readings. Okay, now with the vehicle's transmission placed in neutral, I will roll the car backward until the sensor tells me to stop. And now I will roll the vehicle forward until those sensors all come back into the green. You notice how it's giving me a warning that I'm in the way of some of the sensors. And that's just fine, as long as I get out of the way so that it can complete its compensation. So this is another feature of the machine, is that it's giving me a warning here that our rear toe-in is way too great. It's over 2 degrees off. And so we need to adjust that to get a proper rolling compensation. And that's because the suspension project has just been performed on this vehicle. So all the suspension's been out and put back in. And so if you are doing this job on an actual customer vehicle, you absolutely would need to stop here and do the adjustment. You just follow the screen there and bring both of those toe-in numbers into adjustment, and then you would redo that compensation. Because we're just trying to figure out what our alignment readings are, I'm going to go ahead and hit ignore warning and carry on getting out the rest of the readings. So it's giving us our first set of readings now, but we got one more step before we can get all those alignment values, and that is measuring our caster angle. So now we're going to go ahead and hit that button there. It says measure caster and perform the caster sweep. So now we're in our caster sweep screen. And at this time, I'm just going to turn the wheels in the direction indicated by the computer. You can roll down the window and stand on the little stool that we have here and turn the steering wheel, or you can grab onto the actual tires of the vehicle and turn them back and forth that way. So it just gave me a little warning there, and I'm really glad it did, because I need to install the brake pedal depressor in this vehicle before I can do my caster sweep. Okay, in order to install the brake pedal depressor, I'm going to pull out this brake pedal depressing rod. I'm going to take and push in against the brake pedal as far down as I can get it to go. And then the back piece of this rod here, I just push up against the edge of the seat. And now the brake pedal is depressed. And just for extra, I'm going to take and install the e-brake as well. Make sure this vehicle doesn't have the ability to move or roll at all. And now that our brake pedal depressor is installed, we can continue doing our caster sweep. And now we are showing all of our alignment angles. I like to hit that little button there that says show bar graphs. The pictures kind of throw me off when I'm looking at these. So we'll take a look at how those bar graphs look on there. So now we have our bar graphs up. We can see what the front alignment looks like and what the rear alignment looks like. At this point, I would adjust the items in the rear first, bring them into specification, and then make my adjustments up on the front. So that is finding your alignment specifications and finding the alignment angles using this Hunter Hawkeye alignment machine.